Hey, what is going on? And Gold Line, Chris, number one. Welcome, my friend. Looks like that fire was going nice in your backyard. Hope you're resting. It's a busy week. I'm sure busier for you than it was me. But and there's Garrett, who's second, who's going to experience what it was like next year. Because Garrett's going to go to Chicago next year. We got to make sure that happens. Together we are Captain Planet. Oh, are we showing our age right there? I hope you guys are doing well. Sorry, catching up here real quick. Just to kind of see what's happening with Twitter. Mike Jones, welcome. Glad you're hanging out with us tonight. Looks like some folks are coming in. I had planned on talking at some point this weekend. Everyone tag on Twitter. Hecker is the ringleader in making that happen. Yes, you all have to get there. Che, hello, my friend. Long time no see, Mr. Batos. Yeah, met a bunch of people, new people. It was tough. Like, are they really new people? I mean, I've been talking to these folks for like 2 years. Are they really new? New in person, I guess. Yeah, I have my roadshow cards shirt on. I do have a shirt on underneath, and see, that's pretty cool. But it's a little down here in my basement with the AC on, so got the hoodie tonight. Yeah, so national. I mean, Joey Mahomes, Collector Joe 15, I think, is what your Twitter handle is. Anyway, I'm going to get to you in a minute, man. So good to meet you. Oh man, Mike Jones just hit it on the head. Meeting people in person was the highlight of his national trip last year. Rudy, welcome, my friend. And I got to tell you what, it was the highlight of my trip this year to the national. Last year I remember sitting here, going through Twitter and like seeing everybody's posts, and I'm like, man, that looks so fun. Like, I really wish I could be there, but I can't. And all right, I'm going to make a plan for next year. And I looked up the dates and I found the dates, and I actually got quite worried because it's usually around that time too. So I was kind of scared that maybe I was gonna miss out again. And thankfully that didn't happen. I was able to go. My original plan, Rudy, am I in Pittsburgh on Tuesday? I am, but I don't know what my schedule looks like on Tuesday yet. Excuse me. My original plan for national this year was to actually be there through this evening. And I've talked to a few people at national and told them this. My wife and I, we both turned 40 this year, and I'd been trying to plan this big party for her, and lots of like moving parts to it. And finally what it came down to is that it ended up being this weekend. And I was very happy to be able to do that for her. So I cut my national trip short so I could come home, so that she could go on her girls trip. So, that was kind of like my first, like, okay, like I have 2 full days, in Atlantic City at national, to try to do whatever it was that I was trying to do. I had no game plan at that point. And then I started thinking like, okay, like let's put together racks. I mean, that's what we do, right? And then I went bigger and like, let's do 100 racks in 2 days. And, quite honestly, I was freaking out about it because I didn't know what was going to happen. And I just went for it. Typically, when it comes to conferences, and I equate this to a conference, and I'll get to that in a minute. Like I usually have a game plan. I have a to-do list. Like this is what I have to do when I get there. I have to go check in at a certain point. I have to go get my stuff at a certain point. I'm going to go to this program. I'm going to do this. I threw all of that out the window for national, and I said I'm just going to go in, and I'm going to go and just you know not have any type of plan whatsoever. Boy, was I wrong. I should have had a plan in place. I should have like mapped out like kind of like I want to go see this group of people. I want to go see this group of people. Are there chat groups going on that I can be a part of, and get into, are there events that are happening that I should know about and that I should go into? I didn't take a look at anything. Nothing, not a single solitary schedule. In fact, I didn't even know what time the VIP check-in was, for the first day. Thankfully, Che was there, and Che set me straight, and said 10 o'clock on Wednesday. Let's go over and check things out. So I was like, cool. Um, and this was a real challenge for me because many of you may or may not know this. Um, I am a huge introvert. I don't like large groups. I don't like big gatherings. Um, I'll talk in front of people all day long. That's fine. I will. I'll get up on stage and I'll talk to you, and present on topics. But small talk and those types of things, that's not me. I'm not good at that stuff. So this was a big challenge. And when I was talking with Che the first night, we hung out, went and got a couple of beers, and I gave him, the first national rack, and I had an extra rack for him as well. We were talking about that, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm a part of this chat group on Twitter," and I was like, "Sweet, like add me." And that could have been probably one of the best things that he did is he added me to the chat group, and started to like see other people that were there, and I could kind of start putting names to some things. And so we're sitting there, and the first like folks came in, and I gave them some racks, and I was like, this is exciting. And throughout that first day, there, I clammed up really big because I was told, and I read, like Nationals, this big thing. It's going to be like a Vegas casino. And I was like, I've been to Vegas before. That I can handle this. So much bigger than I ever anticipated. Um, so much bigger. I remember walking through, and I was standing there in like this open corridor of the convention hall where the showroom floor was. I was looking at it at first, and I was like, all right, it's decent size. And then I happened to like look through the forest past the trees. And that's when it hit me. It was like, this thing's massive. I mean, bigger than I could ever imagine. Rick, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Um, so like I'm like, I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. I don't know where anybody is. And I knew in my head, like, I'm gonna go find Steel City because they're in my backyard. Ooh, I also want to go see Roadshow. Like, I gotta meet Jimmy, I gotta meet Tracy Hackler. Like, those are the people I wanted to meet. And I'd said it before, like this was a business trip too. Like, I wanted to talk to certain people about rack of the day and kind of where it's going. And so I was like, all right, I got to get in that mindset. So I start walking, and I immediately see the HGA table. And Joey Mahomes, who's here in chat, don't know if he's still here, but he was here in chat. He had reached out to me like while we were waiting in this VIP room, and he's like, hit me up. I'm in the HGA table. And I'm like, okay, like cool. Man, this guy, we never met, and we interacted on Twitter, but like we know each other, but we've never met in person. And I went in to shake his hand. He's like, nah, no, 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 no. Came around the table, gave me the biggest bear hug I've ever received in my life. And that was like the coolest thing ever. Okay. And then he's introducing me to people. And Joey, I apologize. I have her name somewhere around here. I think it was Kaylee, um, one of his colleagues, introduced me to one of his colleagues, got to introduce her to RAK of the day, gave her a national RAK along with Joey. And it was just so cool. I mean, because this was somebody new. Kaylee was new to this whole movement. And I'm like, man, this is exactly what I want. Like, I want to meet the people that I want to meet, and I want to introduce people to RAK of the day and get that momentum going. So we chatted a little bit, and I appreciate you, Joey, taking the time. And, because you all are working there too. Like, I mean, I don't know if you all know this, but Joey works for HGA. So you all are working. Like, and I don't want, I felt weird taking up time, so I wanted to, get away and, and whatnot. It was just like, you got people that are going to come to the table and talk to you and whatnot. Garrett, you're right, man. I mean, we've known each other, for 2 years or more, and it just feels natural, to give that big bro hug, or, to shake their hand and not say, oh, hey, I'm Eric, how are you? Or, it's, man, Garrett, how's Parker doing? Where's he at? Where's Christine at? I mean, we know each other. So I was glad I stopped and talked to Joey at HGA. It didn't dawn on me that there was another person there that I had to meet. And he was at the very next table. And that was Tim with SIGs for Soldiers. And I think we're all familiar with what Tim does. I mean, we've seen it all over Twitter these last few days. This man is the hardest working man in the hobby. I don't care. I mean, he outperforms any distributor, any breaker. Sorry, we're all friends with breakers, but man, this guy hustles. And him and I were talking for quite a long time. And he was telling me the story about SIGs for Soldiers and how it all came about. And, we were brainstorming other things that we could do, with it and with RAK of the Day. So big announcement here. The RAK ambassadors already know this, but I'll put this out to everybody. October of this year, we will be hosting a fundraiser for SIGs for Soldiers, just like we've done every month. October is going to be SIGs for Soldiers, so we really want to blow it out of the water that month for Tim and for that group, because I mean, he truly inspired me. Not that I needed any more inspiration, but he truly inspired me to talk about what they're doing, how they're helping homeless vets, how they're helping the veteran community, and he's got it. He understands it. The ironic thing is the only things I bought during the entire national was from him. I think you all saw the Jose Ramirez print that I bought from him, and then I bought some other 8x10s from him as well. But I mean, just an awesome experience with him. Briz, what's going on, man? But then after that, it was like, all right, let me just start walking. And my first thought is I'm just going to walk all the way to the end and kind of get the lay of the land. And that's really how it was. Like I started running into people, started seeing people. Thankfully that I knew, but by like 4 or 5 o'clock, I was kicking myself, and I was actually talking to Kelly. Eric, my man, was such a pleasure hanging out with you. The lane is sitting pretty in the display case as we speak. The lane. Zach, you're gonna have to give me a little more explanation here on what you're talking about by the lane. Lane Johnson. Okay. Oh, yeah. It just hit me before I saw you type that. Yeah, absolutely. GZ Breakers. Just interacted with them last week and got to meet them like first out of the gates, and went to lunch with them, which that was a good experience as well. Shadrach Hobby hit that Goose Gossage jersey as one of the RAK RAK redemption. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, like I was like, all right, mindset, like Roadshow, Steel City, let me go there because Steel City, there's a guy that works there that my wife went to school with. So he's like, yeah, come by, let's chat. And I did that. Jimmy at Roadshow was just, I mean, every time I walk past his booth, busy with people, busy doing his thing, most genuine person in this hobby. And I was like, I'm just going to let him do his thing. Like, I'm not going to go in and interrupt him. I'm nobody special. I want him to do his thing because, it's an experience for everybody. So, but yeah, like right around 4 o'clock, I hit the wall and I just wasn't like, all right, I don't know how to go talk to people. Where do I go to talk to people? How do I just walk up to some random stranger and say, hi, I'm Eric, and I got this thing that I want to give you. And I was talking to Kelly's Cards through Twitter about it. And he pretty much just like told me as it is, like, dude, just do it, like just go out there and do it. And so I challenged myself a little bit that evening. But it was tough. I mean, it was tough because the show was a lot more bigger than I expected it to be. And I talked to my wife that first night and I told her, I said, it was just a lot. And I could not explain what a lot meant. I just kept saying it was a lot. The most exciting piece of that first night was Goldline Chris reaches out to me in a DM and he goes, where are you? And I was literally just leaving. I was just getting ready to leave to go back to the hotel. And I was like, I'm right here. And where are you? And so we got to meet up and that was cool. I got to meet the guys at LJ's. I got to see from a distance the 9.5 1952 Mickey Mantle they were auctioning off. I think his people actually got to hold it. Excuse me, my wife is texting me. Guys, she's hammered. Sorry. But it was so cool. So I went back to the hotel and I just kind of like rested because it was an exhausting day. I thought about it that evening. I was like, all right, the things people kept saying, and I don't know if they were jokes, if they were being satirical or not, was wear comfortable shoes and make sure you have a lot of deodorant or Axe body spray. Well, I'll be honest with you. I didn't smell anything, but I got a bad sniffer anyways. And my comfortable shoes are flip-flops. I wear flip-flops everywhere I go, no matter what I'm doing. I do yard work in my flip-flops. So that wasn't going to bother me. What bothered me were my knees. I knew that was going to happen. I pumped myself full of Aleve all day. Sorry. Anyway, so I'm sitting there. I'm like, man, I only gave out like 20 racks. I have 80 more to go, and I have one day to do it. So I was like, I just have to do it. Scott Berger, what's up, man? I was like, I just got to do it. I have to do it the next day. I got to get these things out. The other thing too is it's not actually but I just had these made up. Batos was helping with this, sent me a bunch of cards. Dylan D Moose, I had a bunch of cards from him. Just made up those packs too. Put them all around Atlantic City. Put them all around the convention center. There were 50 in total, and they were easy and I handed some out to people too. Like they were easy. So the next day I was like, I'm doing this, man. I'm doing this. And, again, the VIP room, we're in there, we're waiting. And I was like, all right, let me just talk to some folks and, that were in there. And I was talking with them, at the tables, and it was pretty cool. And then I met Jaffe. Yo, Jaffe, you can't see that. This man's a freaking giant. Anyway, I put it on Twitter. And I knew it was him. And I knew it was just going to be a great day from that point forward because, I'm going to go and talk to some folks. And I made it a point because I got to shake Tracy Hackler's hand as he was walking in and I was walking to the VIP, and I was like, I got to come see you. And I'm just going to put it out there now. If you haven't had the opportunity to interact with Tracy Hackler, find some time to do it through DMs, whatever the case may be. Find time to do it. This man is now my hobby mentor. He doesn't know that, but he did with Panini and now is doing with Roadshow what I ultimately want to do within this hobby. And I was so grateful that he took the time to sit down, talk with me, explain how his journey has, what he's done, and it's really given me some thoughts and some inspiration to continue moving forward with everything. But yeah, then like the rest of the day, like I got to meet Tony Schreck. He introduced me to a bunch of people like Ken Carl Arts. Um, there were people that I didn't get to meet, like Sue's. I didn't get to see her. Sue Tiska. We crossed paths and days. Vito. Yeah, I mean, there were quite a few folks that I didn't get to see or, didn't get to meet while I was there, but that's okay. Like at the end of the day, and 87 national rack packs were given out in person, and I after that first day, I didn't think we would get that high, and I was freaking out. I have the rest of them sitting here. There's actually 2 redemptions that haven't been claimed yet, so I got a plan for those, and you all will start seeing this happen within the next week or so. But let me just kind of tell you maybe some negatives, and then I see there's questions that people submitted too. So if you have questions, you can tweet them or you can put them in here. But just like some negatives that I saw come out of this. In a past lifetime, I put together conventions, and I thought they did a really great job with the communication, with the website, with registration. The whole setup was really great. What I don't think they did a good job with is the actual location of it. Atlantic City just was not a good place to have this type of convention, I don't think. The parking that was adjacent to the convention center, from what I heard, was a nightmare and it was limited. I had parking included in my ticket that I bought that was in a parking garage that was about quarter a mile from the convention center. A short walk. I mean, I'm not complaining about the walk, other than the fact that you had to cross multiple streets. And then once you got to the walkway to lead to the convention center, there was a literal swamp in the sidewalk. So only one way in and one way out, and, caused some traffic jams. The convention side of it, like they gave these tote bags, 3/4 of it got thrown away because it was just advertisements. And I understand that's what sponsors get. That's what, all that gets. And then I guess I was confused on like, and this is going to sound petty. I understand. Again, this is me not doing my due diligence and doing my homework. Last year, I remember like people were like, oh, I got these promotional packs. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like I was looking forward to this. And they said there was going to be a list of the gift items. I never saw a list. And if it was out, I missed it. But it's like, I got 2 of these. My son opened one already, and I assume that they're the same cards inside. 2 of the same packs here. It looks like they're just from heritage auctions of what's been auctioned off in the past. 2 VIP cards. I got a Naomi Osaka and a Messi, which my son took the Messi. 2 of these upper deck packs. Again, I assume that they're the same. And then these 2 Mickey Mantle cards, which those are pretty cool until you look on the back and it's an insurance advertisement. So, I mean, and that's what was in there. There were a couple of other little things too. What I really enjoyed again was just the fact that I met people. Uh, Garrett, I don't know. I don't know the hobby community online with Twitter, break groups, same focus energy on community of the hobby at the national or more money side of flipping, etc. Let's see, Chris. I want to decipher your question here. The hobby community online with Twitter, break groups, same focus energy on community of the hobby at the national. Oh my gosh, yeah. Um, so I did meet Ben in person with Midwest Box Breaks, and man, he's just as genuine and cool in person as he is online through Twitter, through um, his breaks on YouTube. Um, Absolutely the best. And again, I'm sometimes a good read of people. And when I first met him there, I shook his hand. He literally just got in. And he was like, I need food. I'm like, cool, 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 cool. Um, but I did get a chance to talk with him. He was at the Six for Soldiers table, totally focused on the community aspect of things. And quite honestly, um, a lot of the people that I met, like the new people that I met, they were really um interested in kind of like this other side of the hobby that we do, this other side of like giving stuff away instead of buying stuff. Now, listen, like the majority of these packs I put together, there wasn't anything that I could trade somebody for or sell to a dealer, other than like singles, and whatnot. But when I was explaining it to them, they're like, "Oh man, that's really cool. Like there's some things that can be done." But on the other aspect too, like definitely there were a lot of people there, I think, that were just there for the cash grab or to buy that card that they wanted. And good for them. Like if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. I have no problem with that. I mean, we all have a place in the hobby. It just depends on what place at the table you want to sit at. Um, Dealers, this is another negative on my part, like personal part. I don't think I looked at a single thing, like for me to buy, other than with Tim. It was just too much. There was too much for me to look at, and I thought about it that first, and I'm like the next day, like I'm gonna look for Fellers. I want to look for the 101 Devin Smith that I'm looking for, and I want to look for some Hall of Fame baseballs. Um, and as I was going around, like I was looking a little bit, but not enough to where there was anything that really intrigued me or to even talk with anybody. Um, the one cool story I'll tell you about is I'd met Darren Ravel. And if you don't know who Darren Ravel is, he used to work for ESPN and then I think CNBC, and now he's out on his own. But he does a lot with like sports marketing and sports betting, and to me he's always been ahead of the curve when it comes to things in sports and things in pop culture and society. And a lot of people don't like him. I absolutely love him. He's like one of my idols in life, and he helped out with Ripping for the Cure one year, and we've messaged each other back and forth off and on. And actually, Scott Berger, if he's still in chat, he's the one that introduced us online, actually. Um, but we've messaged back and forth on Instagram quite a bit, and he was there showing off his ticket collection. He has this massive ticket collection, and it was just so cool to listen to him interact with people. He was really nice to everybody. Um, I I was intimidated by him the first day, but again, I think it was because there were a lot of people around. I went up to him on the second day when there weren't so many people around. I shook his hand, I said thank you, and just we talked for a little bit. It did not give him a rack. I just didn't think that it was the appropriate thing to do at that time. I wish I could have or would have, but I didn't. Um, but yeah, I mean, Che's in here. I know Che talked to a lot of dealers. Was doing that, and you know, he put something out on Twitter that next year he's focusing on two specific cards, and I'm getting in that mindset now. Also, like I'm starting to think like, what can I do differently next year? One, I'm going to stay longer. Two, I'm going to spend half my time like doing the RAK stuff and half my time doing maybe some hobby related things and everything like that. But yeah, it was just cool. I did run into Mikey B, super nice guy as well, Eloy as well, um, whatnot. So I mean, a lot of just cool people. Um, but yeah, I do think the majority of folks were focusing on more communal aspects, more meeting people. Um, it was I know that Lauren Taylor was there, and like a lot of people were excited to meet her. I wish I could have, um, but just wasn't able to stay that long. I know Goldline Chris had a question on Twitter here that I'll put here. He, like myself, wanted to meet so many people. Most he did, most I did too. Some we couldn't. How did you find people? Um, cell service and Wi-Fi service within the convention center. I'm sure you've all seen on Twitter. It was an absolute joke. It was zero. That's another negative. Like up up your game. I realize it's a first world problem, but how in the world do we not have standard Wi-Fi at these types of things is beyond me. Um, so a lot of my finding people was literally walking around. There wasn't a whole lot of like, hey, meet here, let's do this, let's do that. I mean, I was trying to like navigate the room, and I knew some people were coming in Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, or excuse me, Wednesday or Thursday. So like let's try to do that. Yeah, I mean, walked away because you didn't. I mean, you had to, right? Like, you can't just go in blind. Now, where I did find Zach, if you maybe you did too, is the VIP room had excellent Wi-Fi, but of course you can't take a dealer to that room either. Um, yeah, I mean, it was difficult. No Wi-Fi was intentional. I heard dealers could buy Wi-Fi. Yeah, Mike. They did have Wi-Fi for $80. I could have bought it for $80, but I'm like, no, no, just not going to do that. Um, I've already given you enough money to attend this thing. Like, come on. And I guarantee you, I mean, there were thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people there. They made a killing where they could have upped the Wi-Fi game. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was tough to meet people. It really was. And I think that's why I would stay longer next year so that I could have a full experience of not only meeting people, but also looking for the things that I wanted to add to my collection. I really wanted to stock up on um, cards to rack at like the dollar boxes and whatnot, but those were so full with people, and I just couldn't stay there and hang out very long. Um, Chad Stanfield, Psycho MC Teach, who that cool Papa Bell photo that Che got is for him. Asked, as far as cards, memorabilia, etc., what are some things that you saw that you were like, holy crap, really type of moments? So what stuff did you see that blew my mind, or I would have liked to bought? Um, there was so I'm kind of an eclectic um, person at times. Like, I love programs. I love pennants. I really like the memorabilia type stuff. So there was a lot of that. There was a case full of Jordan's game used shoes, but the unique part of the shoes is they were all from game winning shots in the playoffs. So like that was really cool. There was a display with DiMaggio. He had a bat, glove, and ball, I think. Um, you know, again, I didn't get to see a whole lot of stuff that I think I probably would have been like, wow, that's super cool. A lot of cards. I mean, when I did stop, there were a lot of cards, and I read somebody's post on Twitter that grading's taking over the world, and I would agree, grading was definitely taking over. There was a lot of graded vintage cards, and um, that was just something I saw so many like Clementes and Banks and Pages. No Bob Fellers. There were none anywhere to be found. I even asked people like, "Hey, do you have any Bob Fellers?" And like, no. Um, so there was a lot of that. That was just some of the cool stuff. How many followers, hobby fan members did you get to meet in person for the first time? I like actual number. I don't know. Like I said, I gave out 87 of those packs. The majority of them were probably two folks that I met on Twitter. Um, so I don't know. Chat, no fellers. Like at least the people I stopped to it and asked, there were none. So I'm sure somebody had some. I'm sure somebody did. Um, Garrett, what'd you say here? Myself and Parker, I'm the dad who literally hangs out while he does his thing. I tag along to make sure he doesn't lose his butt on a deal or something. Yeah. You know what's funny is so I think Che was with me actually in the VIP room. I was taking a break and I was like, I'm just gonna ask people like, how's it going? Like that became my opening line, like, hey, what'd you pick up? What are you looking for? Um, and I stopped at one guy. He was sitting there, and I was like, "Hey, what's the big thing you picked up?" He's like, "Oh, I'm still kind of looking." I'm like, "Oh, what are you collecting?" He's like, "Pokemon," and I'm like, "In my inside, I'm like, I don't have any of that, so I'm probably not going to give you one of these racks because you may not enjoy it, and that's okay." Um, and then like the very next person was a woman that was sitting there, and I was like, "Hey, what's your big?" She goes, "I don't know. My son is here, and I'm just kind of tagging along." And I was like, "Ooh, antennas are going up, son. Like, kid, like I gotta meet them because I got something to give." And I was like, "Oh, cool. How old's your son?" 26 years old. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, like deflation." Um, but it was interesting to just meet some people. There were three guys I met on the walk over from, well, actually one guy, and then it turned into three guys that I met walking over to the convention center from one of my breaks. I had to go refill my bag, and I was talking with them. They all were super impressed with what we were doing, and they were really cool guys. But first time there, just kind of hanging out. But they had a big old box full of Prism, and I'm like, "What are you doing with that?" They're like, "Oh, we're gonna sell it." And I'm like, "Okay." Um, but I think, you know, I don't know. It was just a fun experience. I mean, if I had to grade it, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, for me, it was probably an 8 overall. I mean, like I said, the negatives were the location, the lack of Wi-Fi service, my own personal self of just not being able to talk to folks when I needed to or wanted to, um, not understanding what this whole thing was about. I have a better understanding now, and I think I can develop a better game plan for next year. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was just a fun time. Um, I would definitely do it again, and I would definitely suggest that everybody do it again. The other thing I learned too is where you stay, hotel wise. Like, you don't have to be right there, especially like I don't know what all the other ticket levels are, but like the level I had parking included. So I'll probably do that again next year, and that'll open up my opportunities to stay elsewhere. I don't have to stay right across the street and just walk there every day. I could go and I can drive, which that was very helpful, because it gave me another place to just go to and meet people. um, so I would highly suggest everybody take the opportunity. If you can swing Chicago next year, definitely swing Chicago. If not, go to Cleveland the following year. Um, but get there, and I'm going to try to convince my wife to go with me next year. just to go. I mean, saw a lot of couples there. Even if she doesn't want to stay, just go. One thing I learned last year is that I need to get in better shape so I can last longer at the show. I was there Wednesday through Saturday and didn't see all the show. Yeah, Mike, like I was saying earlier, my feet didn't hurt, my knees hurt. I have no cartilage in either one of my knees, so like my knees always hurt. So I just pumped myself full of Aleve. Um, but it was tiring at the end of the day for sure. Except the dank key situation and parking garage at our hotel. Yeah. So Che and I stayed at the same hotel. Did not plan this, and even the more ironic part is we had the same room number, just 2 floors apart. Um, but he came down one morning and is like, I had to get my key uh changed, and whatnot because it wasn't working in his door. And I'm like, man, that sucks. Well, maybe that same morning, I had to do it twice. I thought I was an idiot and didn't know how to use a hotel key. But no, I mean, it just kept, I don't know, they were the cheapest things ever. And then our parking garage was so tight. There was no way 2 cars were getting past one another with it. I need a scooter if I go. So, Rudy, there were many people there on scooters, in wheelchairs. Um, I saw I saw people with strollers. I mean that, and there was plenty of space for it too. I mean, there really was. I think that was one of the positive things is they did have enough space. I'm glad they didn't cramp us all in there. And I don't know if it was like that last year, if they did this year because of COVID concerns. Don't know, but I thought the spacing was really nice. I tell you the one thing I hope they change for next year, and sorry if this offends anybody, there was way too much yelling at this show. I from the main stage, and I think it was Whatnot. They were just it, it, it was way too loud. A lot of sensory overload, and I could have done without that. And I hope that they try to limit that next year. I understand building the excitement and everything like that, but man, too much. Don't move well. Cancer has done a number on me, but there's things I can do to be in better shape than I am. Mike, man, I mean, you gotta take care of yourself first in the best way possible. The best what's for you. Don't let anything dictate what you need to do. And I was actually talking to Gerald, who's on Twitter, Life of Gerald. First time I ever met him. Um, Ironically, we were standing next to each other at Tim's table and didn't realize it until something was said. But, you know, we gave a fist bump, and at some point we shook hands. And he's like, I don't shake hands. I've fist bumped for 20 plus years. I got to change that. And I was like, don't change it. Like, that's how you do it, that's how you do it. Like, don't conform to folks. From what I'm seeing this year, the venue is larger in AC versus Chicago. They had more room. Oh boy, then I'm scared for next year. Um, Gosh, what else about national? I don't know. I I, I I don't know. I am thankful for all the group chats, whether it's on Twitter. Like I'm still in the one on Twitter, just because it's making me feel like I'm still there. Um, let's see. Yeah, and like Ben, he's done really well keeping up to date with his Discord channels. So, I mean, what I could do is, or what I would suggest is, if you can get in group chats like that for next year, do it because it's going to be a ton of help. Um, get a game plan in place of what you're looking for and what you want to do. If your sole purpose is to just meet people, plan that out ahead of time with folks. And if you want to simply go and buy, like, have a list of what you want to buy. Should I be able to trust a 13-year-old going on 14 to be able to go browse by himself? Or should I be expecting to be tagging along? I want to go for the people. He's in it for the cards. Man, Garrett, that's a tough one. Um, I mean, my first instinct as a dad myself is, Parker better than anybody does. So could you trust him to go off and do these things? Do you have a plan in place? I'm sure you would. I think you could. Um, I think that you probably could. I mean, I didn't get the sense that there were creepy people there, for lack of a better term. I got a sense that, I mean, everybody there was, pretty decent. Um, so if you're comfortable with it, I would think so. There was only one person that I got kind of creeped out by, and actually he was the last person that got one of the rack packs. Um, it was during trade night with Jimmy and Ryan at Card Collector 2. And I was with Bella Yash. What I don't even know how to pronounce her Twitter handle. It's YASHARKBOS. Super awesome person. Loved meeting her. But I was with her and a few other folks, and I was explaining Rack of the Day, and I had the packs out, and this guy, like, all of a sudden, like, out of nowhere, comes up. He goes, "Hey, can I buy something? Are you giving something away?" And he was all disheveled, and I'm like, "Okay, like, let me take the opportunity to explain it to you as well, and whatnot." So, but he's the only one I got kind of creeped out by. But everybody else was pretty cool, I think. You trust them, good. Transaction of financials, I don't know. Thousands of people in non-existent Wi-Fi, no thanks. I really want to go for the people, so I don't want to take away from his experience. I I don't know how many days you would go for, Garrett. I think you could probably do both. Um, because the show was large enough um, that you could cover ground, over a few days. Yeah, Che, I think, is saying the same thing I was just going to do. Check the schedule, identify a few things that are musts. Make sure you go to those early. There will be plenty of time just to wander and gawk. Yeah, like that. That's kind of what I was going to say. Is like, pick chunks of what you're going to look at and what you want to see. You know, Obviously, the big players that are going to be there, but then you got all these, like, kind of smaller dealers there too. So I think those are going to be the tough ones to navigate and to go seek out. Um, but I definitely think you could accomplish both of those things, meeting people and letting Parker have his own um experience, of buying all the wits and all the Butkers and all that. Answers, yeah, no problems. No, ask away. I mean, uh, you know, let us share the experience we had to help you. Yeah, no, I get it. Missed out on the LT Toms event because we were there for 20 minutes, but started talking with T Bone. Yeah, like I've seen that. All right, Mike, have a good one. Appreciate you jumping in, Mike. Appreciate you supplying one of the rack redemptions. That was really cool of you. Thank you, sir. Yeah, like I kicking myself because I missed out on Lauren Taylor. I mean, I'm late in the game of the whole card art thing. But I loved what she did with her Project 70 stuff. And ooh, Matt, yep, yep, that is, yes, scheduled breaks. The last day I was there, which was Thursday, 3:30, I was done. I was done, and I had to go back to my room and just chill out because trade night was that night. And I knew that it was gonna be nuts, and yeah. I mean, schedule those breaks. I mean, you got to. See, Che, that's what I'm talking about. Like, I guess I missed out on this actual schedule. I don't know, but yeah, yeah. it was tough. It was tough. I kept seeing people like pulling these cards and showing them off, and I'm like, dang, like where are you getting these from? Like I knew Tops and I think Upper Deck had the wrapper redemption stuff. I guess that's where the silver packs came in. I don't know. Like you had to buy from specific dealers, take it over. I didn't quite understand. Again, this is all stuff that I need to better plan next year, and I encourage you all, if you're going to plan on that next year too. Like that's one thing. Don't buy sealed wax leading up to the event. Buy it there. The wrapper redemption programs. Yeah, like so that's what I was going to say. Like I had this grandiose idea. Like I'm going to come home this weekend. My wife is away this weekend, and Friday and Saturday night, I'm going to open up all the packs and boxes that I bought. Well, I didn't buy anything, so I have nothing to open up, which I'm cool with, totally cool with. Um, but yeah, like it's just better planning on my part next year. All you had to do was buy a Topps random box there. I was at Steel City and I was like, I should buy something, but I didn't. Um, it was weird. I get weird like that. Like I don't like buying things in person. I'd rather buy it online. I guess that's that introvert thing in me. I don't know. Take it to Tatsu. They remove your wrapper so you can't double dip, but then give you a silver pack. Oh, cool. Wednesday through Friday only. Place I saw then was through the wrapper redemption. Today, dealers are selling the packs for $50 out of their case. Holy smokes. That's nuts. That's one thing I don't like is like, let me get this free pack. Well, not free. I guess it technically wasn't free, but you know, um, yeah, I mean, they were loaded. I don't know if you all saw Bella, yeah, Shark Boss or whatever her handle is on Twitter. She pulled, I can't remember the one player, but then she pulled the Mike Trout 101 auto. I mean, dang. Um, yeah, I mean, they were pretty loaded. Yeah. Um, so yeah, I mean, I definitely plan better next year is my biggest thing. I don't know what other advice I have, but that would be it. Um, so kind of coming out of this, like Rack of the Day now is moving into, I think, the next phase that I see this. Um, there's some things that I gotta really start to nail down and put together. I created an Instagram page for it, which that's going to be very interesting. Because a lot of the kids, when I was like, yeah, we do this through Twitter, and like, oh, do you have an Instagram? And I'm like, been thinking about it. Let me go ahead and do it. So we got an Instagram now. So if you haven't subscribed to that, go ahead and subscribe to the Instagram. It's just Rack of the Day. No hashtag on it, just Rack of the Day. Um, what else? So my whole goal with Rack of the Day has been to turn this into a true nonprofit. And we're getting to the point where we can make that a reality of having one central location for all of you here, folks on Twitter, folks not on Twitter, um, that they can come and say, dealing with some issues, or I have a friend dealing with some issues, and they could really use some financial help and be able to provide it. And it's, I mean, it's, if you're familiar with the nonprofit world, they're called foundations, and there's a vetting, there's an application. It's not just, you emailing me and saying, man, my buddy needs $500 to get through the month. Like that's just not it. I mean, there are things like that, but you can't just say yes to everybody, right? So, we're kind of getting to that point, and I'm formulating ways to connect with other people and formulating ways to fundraise in that sense. And that'll be the other piece to it too, is not only individuals, but it'll be specific charities as well. And organization. So we're moving there. We took a little bit of a step forward this week with it. I'm going to continue working on it. I have to talk to some other folks. I got to get some plans in place to make it more of a reality. We'll still do the daily RAKs and the recognition program. That will never change. As long as you all will have me, that will continue to go. It'll still be the fun and crazy thing that we do, but that's kind of the direction we're moving into. We're finishing strong this month with the Greater Cleveland Food Bank. I haven't checked recently, but I think Rich is close to $1,500. Set the goal of 1,000, blew past that last week. So kudos to him and this community. Starting on Monday, our charity is, give me a second here. It is it's Garrett, is it you? It's the Wichita Children's Home, which, Garrett, I guess I got to get in touch with you because I have been busy. Sorry about that. But looks like it's yep, we're good. Yeah, the Wichita Children's Home, which I think I donated last year to Garrett based on a bet that you and I had. So super cool thing. I know that you'll be pumped and ready to go for that. So we're going to blow that out of the water too. RAK ambassadors, what I'm about to say, do not spoil it for anybody, please. October 22nd. Just everybody keep that date in mind. It's going to be a huge day for RAK of the Day. More details will come as the date gets closer, but it's going to be pretty exciting. I can't wait to see what happens that day because it's going to be awesome. Yeah. So what else? Any other questions, thoughts, ideas for national, for RAK of the Day, for the hobby? Who you looking for? Let's see what's on the Twitter timeline now. Yeah, like this guy here. My second batch of silver packs yesterday were juiced. And he's got let's see, there's a Palomalu autograph, an Atwater autograph, Tony Kukoc. Ooh, Paul Tagliabue autograph, Isaac Bruce, Drew Pearson, Jimmy Johnson. Who else is here? Ben Wallace, Edgerrin James, Jordan Lawler, Jalen Hurts. All these are autographs. That's insane. And then this 101 Dalvin Cook gold patch. That's pretty cool. Yeah. What's October 22nd? It's a date in October that you'll just need to keep in mind for RAK of the Day. That's all I'm going to say. All I'm going to say. Yeah, Deafness is there at today. Was sad that I missed him. Be on the lookout for there's Tony Shrek. Tony. Oh my gosh. How did I not talk about this? So Tony had the absolute coolest community engagement piece and memorabilia piece as a takeaway from the national. And if you follow Tony, you've already seen it on Twitter. I'll brag. I was the first one to be able to sign his baseball. He got all the Twitter handles that he met on this baseball. And Tony, I saw it's front and center in your display piece. And that, I was telling everybody such a cool thing to do. And I couldn't wrap my head around um, that's what you were doing. I mean, that was so cool. Um, Kudos to you, man. And then Chase, I guess, getting this triple auto cards or something, which is funny because and I don't know if this will ruin it for anybody or not. I hope not. That picture was actually of just Che and Tony, and they posted it, and I was like, I'm so sad. I'm so sad that I'm not in that picture. And then Jimmy Bible goes and photoshops me in it. So it was pretty cool. Jen cried herself to sleep last night because Tony wouldn't let her sign that dang ball. Tony, why wouldn't you let Jen sign the ball? I need answers now. Why would you not let her sign the ball? Garrett, you still here? Here, I'll send this to you, Garrett. It's that Tiger Woods card. I'll send that to you, my man. I just got to get some top loaders. I'm all out. Did not know who Jen. Oh, Tony. Well, was Che there? Did he not explain to you who Jen was? So wait, it might not be your fault, Tony, that you didn't let Jen sign the ball. Che, explain yourself. Did you let Tony know who Jen was? Yeah, like these upper deck packs. Oh, Che. All right, so Tony, I'm not sure it's actually your fault. I hope Jen's not listening right now. So Ben Simmons, LeBron, Jordan, Gretzky. I don't know. These packs are just crazy. Introduce her as Jen, but not as Pointer Jen. Well, you know what? Okay, so like Tony had the other smart idea too. Let me just get my entire Twitter handle scrawled across my chest on my shirt. That way people will know who I am. Like, come on. But I told him the same thing. Like, that's why I had Rack of the Day across mine. Because if I put ES Hecker on mine, I don't think anybody would really know who I was. Hi, Jen. But if I put ES Hecker, I don't think anyone would know who I am. But if I did Rack of the Day, I mean, I felt like people would recognize that. Um, and all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's just, that kind of stuff, that stands out. I saw a lot of people like that though too, which whether it was for business purposes. Okay, check out these. I just opened up all the upper deck cards. I don't know if you can see. They're all different heights. That's crazy. Um, but yeah, like a lot of people had their handles on there and not obnoxious about it either. Like it was just, this is who I am, and I'm identifying myself so that you know who I am because I want to meet you. Um, it's just a smart thing to do. But Tony, I mean, just that ball, man. Like, I don't know which daughter you're going to will that ball to, but they're going to retire when they sell that ball because there are some legendary people on there, right? I mean, they put that on eBay, it's going to skyrocket. We're all going to shill it to make sure that it gets sold or not sold, whatever. Um, superstars for sure. I'm ordering those cards. We can keep 3 for ourselves, autograph 10 of them in one color, then autograph the 11th in a separate color, make it a 1-1, sell all 11 for charity. Che, I'm down for whatever you want to do. Can I ask a question though? Why do I need 3 of them? I'm just asking because I don't know. Maybe you have a reason behind 3. And let me know how much I owe you for them. But no, I mean, I think that's such a cool thing. I don't know math. All right, math makes sense. Um, I oh, you needed three. That probably makes sense. Okay. Well, if you need three, I need three. Um, you know, I think anything we can do for charity, and I'll let, I mean, Che, you definitely pick the charity that it's going towards. Because this is your thing. So I want to make sure. And I thought 10 regular and the one-on-one made sense. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely makes sense. Um, can we do like funny messages on them like Benny Montgomery did? And is it going to be our signature or is it going to be our Twitter handle? I'm getting way too into this. Way too into it. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to sign the back of them. I'm such an idiot. I'm such an idiot. Um, no, I think that's cool though. Either way, no matter what we do, yeah, we, I mean, we just got to continue having fun. Um, and Che, when you send Tony's, have Jen send hers so that Tony can superimpose her name onto the ball. I'm sure there's a way that they can make that happen. How? Oh man, Che, I might need to like FaceTime you at some point. I wonder if I can make all these rack cards, these rack pictures into cards. That would be super sweet. Huh. Oh, Tony, that's even better. Wait, let's see. Meet up with Tony. Che's in Kentucky. Tony's in New Jersey. Eric's in Pittsburgh. There's the meeting place. I mean, I'll buy drinks and food and have a place for you to stay. Might not have a bed, but I have a place for you to stay. That's even better. Jen's going to have her own ball. I love it. I love it. Now, but I was talking with Che about that. Like, it kind of feels like the ice has been broken now, right? We all met in person. Now, like, it's not going to be weird to say, "Hey, Che, I'm coming to Kentucky to see you." And we go down and we go to Jimmy's store, and we hit up the local distillery, or hey Tony, I'm coming to Jersey. It's a horrible New Jersey accent, but you know what I'm trying to say. And I need to know what the if I'm getting a pork roll or a, what'd you call it, Tony? Wasn't there something else you had called it, or was it, I don't know, pork roll and something ham, Taylor ham. Taylor Ham just sounds like a boy band name. Hi, I'm Taylor Ham. Um, I don't know. And pork roll sounds like a disgusting sushi roll. Can't they come up with something better for it? But I'll tell you what, it was a damn good sandwich. First time I ever had it. I mean, to me, and sorry if I'm offending you, Tony, or anybody from New Jersey, to me, it was a fried bologna sandwich, but it was so good. I told Jen the same exact thing when I buzzed the first night. I said he's always been my friend, but now he really is my friend. Yeah, I mean, it is so true. Like we've texted, we've DM'd, we've talked on YouTube, we've and I've done that with a few individuals, and yeah, it doesn't feel weird now to, to just, say to you and even to say to Kristen, my wife, like, yeah, I'm going to go see Che. And she knows what I'm talking about, instead of like having to explain how I know him and what and why we know each other and what we've done, so it's, yeah, I mean, it makes things a lot easier, and a lot more fun now too, I think. Um, I don't know. Yeah, Rudy, you know, tends to happen. Um, what else? What else? Anything? I mean, it's Saturday night. We're all just kind of like here hanging out, chilling. Taking a pic of the ball Jen sends me and making a top scar. Tony, are you still at the Claridge? Like, what? Like, what's going on right now? I'll tell you one thing. I'm almost afraid to show you guys because I'm afraid that somebody will do something. But so when I moved to Pittsburgh, you guys know that I'm a Cleveland fan, but I also I had PC Hall of Fame signed baseballs. But when I moved to Pittsburgh, I became obsessed with Bill Mazeroski, and just because of the history, like I consider his home run the greatest home run in baseball history, and I wanted his autograph on a ball forever. And I, was in breaks with him and I kept trading for him and everything like that. Then a few months ago, I got new contacts and my new contacts came with like a $300 rebate. And I'm like, sweet, I can go on eBay and buy whatever I want. And I saw Bill Mazeroski ball and it was relatively priced. And I was like, well, let me get it. And now I kind of regret getting it because while it's a nice signature, it's in black ink and it's kind of faded, where all the other ones are in blue ink and relatively sharp. So I think next year when I go, I'm going to try to find me a new Bill Mazeroski ball, but we'll see. Yeah, no, Che, like, yeah, I'll go, feed Dolores some apples. I think her long distance cousins were in my yard today. We actually, I laugh whenever Tony posts those pictures because um, we have a family of deer that visit our yard on a daily basis. We have a mama deer and two fawns. I mean, daily in the morning they come right through our yard because actually our neighbor um, leaves apples out for them every night. So they definitely come visit us on a daily basis. So it's fun to see. Um, I think they tolerate us now, and I think my dog tolerates them also. No, I'm sure West Virginia. Yep. Open invite Jay. If you have a significant other, they can come too. I'm, I'm just I got head scratcher. Um, but yeah, national was fun. Giving these things out were fun. Um, I said I came home with 13 of them. I actually have 8 now. Five got sent out today. I'm kind of spoiling the surprise a little bit. Um, but I have randomly selected people um, for things that they've done for me personally or um, for just kind of like who they are in the hobby. And you may or may not see them posted. I'm not posting them. Um, I'm not advertising them. They're not going to be a part of like the daily rack of the day stuff. This is simply something that I'm doing um, because I want to make sure that they're being recognized in a special and meaningful way. And I thought this was a good way to do it. Never gets old not knowing who Jen is. Yeah. You know, Che, like there's often times where I sit here daily and think, man, are people annoyed by me? Do they really even care about rack of the day? Do they care that, we're doing charity sales and all this? Do they see the tweet and they're like, oh God, there's Hecker again, And I felt that way this week too at times. Like, you know, and I think I was with Tony during this. I was like, uh, you know, this feels good. Like I'm not on my phone right now. I'm talking with Tony. We walked around probably a good half hour or so, and and whatnot. And it was just one of those things where that half hour felt really good because I wasn't thinking in my own head of, all right, I got to post this photo. I got to remember their Twitter handle, and I have to like think of something to say. And are people really going to care about it? And Che, I did look at the interactions, and I know. I mean, I do get it. I know that I got a lot of traffic this week, and and whatnot. But it's still one of those things where, because every now and then, and I was telling you about this, Che, every now and then I have people that will come at me in my DMs and kind of put a negative light on things like, oh, you're just doing this for you. And, you know, I'm sure you're getting a lot of stuff sent your way. I no, like I am not doing this for me. I have no ulterior motives for anyone to, sit there and say, that this is something that I'm doing to get something out of it. Not at all. Not at all. I mean, I can honestly say that I've probably received maybe 10 things as like racks in the last year, like that were well, probably less than that were truly meant for me. Um, I, I don't need anything. Like, I, and I tell people that all the time. Like, I don't, and then like when I was putting these together and I was posting the pictures, and I had people like, oh, how can I buy one? Or what can I do to get one? And like, that wasn't the point of this. Like, I'm not out to make money. It's that kind of stuff. And I take it to heart. I mean, I really do take it to heart. And I know that I shouldn't, because I know that like out of 100 people, 99 of you truly care and truly understand what this means. It's that one person. We talked about this before. It's that one person that's always the negative. Um, Garrett, 1,000% agree with Che. You should feel proud. I do feel proud. I mean, I do. And I do feel good about what Rack of the Day has done for others. I mean, eh, let me just be candid. Yesterday's Rack of the Day started off really well, went a little sideways. And Rich and I were kind of looking at each other through DMs like, not quite sure what to do. Because somebody in our Rack Ambassador group suggested this person because they were having trust issues with the hobby. And it was kind of one of those where like, all right, we can show them that not everybody is untrustworthy. And so Rich and I discussed it, and we are like, all right, let's do this. And so we reached out to the person and let them know what the rack was, only to turn out that how it was being set up, they had to be connected to another person, and that other person had them blocked. And then that kind of set off the sidewaysness, because then Rich and I were like, crap, okay, what can we do? And this rack person was like kind of hounding us, and we're like, give us a minute, we got to think. In the end, it turned out fine, but that, I mean, that's just a part of what we're trying to do, is to show people that we're here, and like there's more of us than there are of them, and we want you to know that. So it's been a hobby only impact. Look at the place this causes people. It's impacted our reach has spread from the very beginning. Yeah, and Garrett, that's what I'm looking at. I mean, that's why I said, like, I want to turn this into a true nonprofit, and I want to make it something that is meaningful and impactful in so many different ways. 3 racks in the last 2 weeks have been purely for life. It's been nothing card related. There's been no cards exchanged, no nothing. It has simply been money. Terry Paul, what's up, man? Um, it's simply been around money for situations that people needed help on. And that's what I want this to be. Like, in the end, like, I want this to be, again, a place where people can come to and say, somebody needs help. And instead of us putting out, like, all right, we got a rack, somebody needs some help, who can jump in? It would simply be, we got a place to go to. And I want to be that place. I want Rack of the Day to be that place. I'm just pissed they haven't got anything free while contributing nothing to others. Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head, Che. I mean, it's all about the me, me, me. What about me? What about me? What about me? Terry, man, whew, we were just kind of reviewing that. Yeah, like, this past week was insane, but it was totally worth it. Totally worth going, and all that. And I'm doing it again next year. Maybe next year we do 200 racks at National. Mm. Just putting that out there. I don't know. I'll get more people involved next year. How about that one? But I don't want to take away the experience. It goes back to Garrett's comment about, like, you know, Parker and all that. I need elves next year. Wish I could have helped more, and always willing to do it for any day you need something. Terry, like, I always have people. I just kind of got off a soapbox of people always coming at me negatively sometimes, but I have more people that will say exactly that. Like, let me know how I can help. Um, in ways, of maybe, being a guest racker one day or whatnot. I mean, yeah, Terry, you just had a giveaway at the gun show. I mean, like that, like, and Guns gets it. I mean, Guns, as as wild and crazy and outlandish as he has got a heart of gold, and he will do anything and everything to help somebody out. I mean, just watching him helping this man and his community build a house. I mean, come on. Like, what better way to give back than just out of the kindness of your own heart, you pull over to the side of the road and say, "Hey, do you need help?" Um, yeah, Che, next year, I mean, that might be something we all talk about, like, who's going, to see if people would be willing to, do some of that, because, again, it spreads it from there, right? Like, it's more than just the one person. Um, but I really got to think if, you know, how would that impact your experience? Don't want to take away from the things that you're trying to do. You want to get that Satchel Page and the Rod Carew rookie next year, right? I don't want you to miss out on that. I know it won't take. Well, it could take. I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts on stuff like that? Like, I heard multiple theories of go early because the dealers want to get their first sales in and inventory moving, or wait till late. I mean, what's the theory behind it? Flashlights on. So, Rudy, buddy, do what you need to do. We need a place to do that. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I do we need a place? Yeah, like whatever. You know what's funny? I thought ever so briefly about having a booth next year. I I thought about it that much, and that's the only way I found out today, like when the dates were, because I found the form for it. Um, and it's like $1,300. I'm like, nope. Not doing that. Wait, Rudy, are you coming to Pittsburgh for? God, just dawned on me. Are you coming to Pittsburgh for training camp? So Terry, you have like Ben Roethlisberger and like all those players, right? Because I mean, they're all below average losers. Garrett, yeah, man. Like, and Garrett, hit me up. You need help, you need advice. You want me to look at anything. Um, Obviously, use me as a resource for anything. I'm excited for Wichita Children's Home. Um, I know why it's important to you, and I think other people will find it inspiring as well. Che, if you had folks do a few each, that could enhance their national experience. I mean, you're probably right. I'm always thinking of like the impact that it has, but you're probably right. So Rudy, Tuesday, you're going to training camp. That's what, the seconds. I don't know. What time is training camp, Rudy? I don't even know. During the day, isn't it? Be sent over tonight or early tomorrow. Just DM me an email address and I'll shoot you over what I have. I'm open to thoughts. Garrett's. I'll just drop my email address here. If you really want to, you can just DM me everything too in Twitter. That's fine. Jen said no way when you said that about the booth as former booth workers. Oh yeah, like I've worked those types of things as well. I mean, I still like do tabling events now for the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, and pff, it's nothing compared to what we experienced at the national this year, and that's even like overwhelming and mind blowing. Or it's the most boring thing on the face of this planet. I don't know. However, on the flip side of that, as busy as I saw Tim at Sigs for Soldiers, I relish on those types of things. Like that's my niche. Like that's when if I'm behind a table and I can present on one specific thing, that's when I can get you. By randomly walking up to people, and that's the other thing too. Like as I was walking around, there's so many people at the tables. Like I just couldn't be like, "Hey, excuse me, can I give this to you? Like let me talk to you for a minute." Like just wasn't the thing, right? Um, so like I said, I thought about it for that long, and my thought was 5. Yeah, well, yeah, 5 days would be tough. 5 days would be super tough. If I go 5 days next year, which I plan on it, whew, I don't know if I'm going to be staying the whole time during the show, because I did Wednesday, I stayed all day, Thursday, most of the day. 5 days of that, I don't know. I don't know. It's tough sometimes to stay motivated, and my wife, she asked me, she goes, how do you just go and see the same thing over and over? I'm like, that's a good question. I don't know, but I kind of felt like I saw different things. Che is an all-star. He is an all-star. Actually, it's funny, when I walked in the showroom on Thursday, I actually thought it looked different than it did on Wednesday. It took me a minute to realize that, yeah, nobody would switch booth. That's just dumb. And you wouldn't have enough time to do it. But I don't know. I did. I walked in, I thought that it was just set up differently. Um, Terry, you do great things. August 2nd, Tuesday, 155. That 155 is when Steelers do things so stupid. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to make it up there. I mean, it's 20 minutes from my house, but I still wouldn't be able to make it. I don't know. Have fun, Rudy. I mean, training camp is an experience that everybody. What about $130 for a table? But for the fact that we could have multiple, 1,300 for a table, but for the fact that we could have multiple run it. I mean, yeah, but honestly, here's the thing too. I think that tables were already selected. I was reading through that form today, and pretty sure that they selected the tables for next year at this show, like this week. I'm gonna pull it up here. Yeah, booth selection for the 2023 National will be held at the 2022 National on 7/29 through 31. You need to select your booth in person during the lottery. So, yeah, they've already selected stuff. Now maybe they'll have stuff available. I don't know, but guys, I'm not getting a booth next year. Plus, like, and that's kind of what Tib and I were talking about. It was Six for Soldiers. Is I did something pretty out of character for myself this year. I saw that he posted, or somebody, I think it was Tim, posted about the awards. And of course, I went on there and I went through everything and I voted for people. And one of them was like charity and influencer. And I tweeted out to everybody to put RAK of the Day down for something. I think it was charity, or there was something, because whoever won it was going to get money. And I already had it in my head that, like, if RAK of the Day were selected, I was donating everything to Six for Soldiers. I mean, but I felt bad because I felt like I was going against Tim, because I really liked him as a person and I really love what he does for Six for Soldiers. And I didn't want to take anything away. And I actually told him that. And he, I mean, so gracious and so wonderful, didn't take it any other way, than that. So, it's just pretty cool. But we were talking, and I think there's some things that we could definitely team up on. Work with him. We're at the end of his booth. I mean, it's not horrible. I don't know how Ben was in Tim's booth, but Ben was also fundraising for them. I got a chip. Do you ever feel bad for your continued support? Yeah, I mean, I don't feel bad. It was out of character for me, was what I'm saying. It was just, I did it once and I was like, I feel dirty for doing that. But yeah, Ben was in the booth. So I don't know, maybe that's something I could talk to Tim about, even if it's just like a day of, like, hey, we're doing this, I got these RAK packs, and if you want to donate, you'll get one. There could be hits in there like there were this year. I don't know. That might be something to think about. It's a good idea. I mean, it's all going to support him if I were to do it. Ken Carr was cool. I'm glad Tony introduced me to him. Ken did something last year for RAK of the Day. He gave something out. I can't remember if it was a print or a card or something, but he did do something. I'll tell you another artist you need, and I mean, just putting these around, Bully's card art Bullies. Man, he gave me 4 acetate cards, and I fell in love with them. I never in my life was like all about um, art cards, and I've been late to the hobby. And so we were talking at the National. I'm like, your choice, dealer's choice. Like, I either want a Lofton or a Feller. And that night, like at National, he DMs me. Probably can't see this. Can you? I don't know. But it's a Lofton. You can't see it. It's a Lofton acetate. Um, and then he's got this one as well. It's another acetate. And then he sends me one today because I think you all probably saw that my son has settled on a Jose Ramirez PC. And he goes, I'm going to send you this too. He's going to create my son a Jose Ramirez one. It's horrible. Sorry. So I just thought that was pretty cool of him. But, you know, Bully messaged me a Cooper Cup he's working on. Tony, man, I'm telling you, he's all right. Che, have a good one, man. We'll catch up. But I think you were there, Tony, when was it Luke? Was that his name? Luke, the card artist, pulled one of the acetates from the RAK pack that Bully did. His name's Matt. Matt Student is Bully's name, but you know what Matt did. And I mean, it was that. I mean, that was really cool. Your son's is going with PC a Manny? No, not Manny. No, Jose Ramirez. No, he. So the reason Terry, Luke the cardist, yeah. The reason is we had been toying with his PC for a few weeks now. And he likes Jose Ramirez and whatnot. So I'm getting back to Tim at Signature Soldiers for everything. So Tim had this awesome Jose Ramirez print that I bought. And I showed it to Landon, and he goes, "Is that for me?" And I was like, "Do you want it?" He's like, "Yeah, my kid's 4." He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay." And I was like, "Do you want to start collecting his cards then?" Because we already had some set out. And he's like, "Yeah." So we went and bought a little binder today. And you would think I had more Jose Ramirez, but I don't. So we got a couple pages. You know, nothing huge, nothing crazy. I've had people reach out and say, I'll send them this autograph. I'm like, don't, like, wait. I think we're good now. But I'm like, wait until we actually settle on something. We're going to chase 3 rainbows. So his 2022 Bowman, we're chasing that one. And I posted these today. I didn't realize these were 2 different ones. So the Dunruss Diamond Kings, this is the of 19 one, the mask variation. So we're going to chase that one. And then we're going to chase the optic one as well, which I looked up one of these and there's like 52 cards or something. I don't know how people do this. So I'm going to freak out a little bit about it. But we're off and running. We're going to do our best. We talked about it this afternoon. I'm like, do you want to do, like, we're going to do this rainbow. We're going to show you the cards. And I'm keeping these ones in the top loaders. All the other ones are going to go in there. He's like, no, I want all of my rainbows to go in the binder too. And I'm trying to explain to him, like, no, we're going to keep them separate and whatnot. So it's going to be interesting to explain all this to a 4-year-old and see how long his interest will stay in that. Shoot out the needs list. Yeah, Garrett, I will. I'll probably put it on the set builder Sunday tweet tomorrow because I think Ben is still doing that one. But I'll put it out there. And, you know, thankfully, a lot of those cards right now, at least on eBay, they're not too horribly expensive. So I will definitely put that out there. Find parallels this week and weekend for people on their list. Cool. Tony, Ken Carl and his friend's face when you had them pick a rack of the day and open them was priceless. Oh man, I saw that you did that for Garrett. And I actually was looking last night too for Greg. Yeah, like Ken and his buddy, they pulled racks, and and that was the coolest thing. Like it was just it lit up their faces, and I mean I posted everybody's picture that got one, and I asked every single person when I did, is it okay to do that? And they all, of course, said yes. Um, and you know, the experience of it all, especially with like the father and son, this one here. So this kid, why can't it? I used to be able to do this. I don't know. Anyway, this kid here, you can't really see him. Um, Decked out in Yankees gear, Yankees hat, Yankees shirt. Middle name is Jeter, and he's a shortstop in baseball. And his dad was telling me that if he doesn't turn out to be a good baseball player, they're going to change his middle name to Jeter. But anyway, he pulled in the pack Andy Pettit triple threads, 3-patch, 2 of them with pinstripes to 25. So I mean, that was just cool, and they were so fun to talk to. We were walking back to the parking garage together, and they were able to, to just kind of hang out. These two guys, so I think it was on the same trip because they're my next picture. This was like the thing I was looking for, right? Like individual people kind of like hanging out, doing their own thing. And these two guys, they were in the parking garage on the same level as me, and they were tailgating. Okay, can't really see it. They were tailgating in their car, and I simply walked up to them like, "Man, it looks like you guys are pros at this." And they're like, "Yeah, tailgating, yada yada." And I explained the whole rack of the day process and what I was doing. And this one I was excited for, but at the same time I was disappointed, because the one guy opened up what I considered the major hit, and it was $100 cash. It had the cards and it had $100 cash in there too. And what it actually was hoping to be is that they would open it up on the floor, and that we would go over to a table and they would buy something right there with it. Well, it didn't happen that way. It happened in a parking garage. Um, which is fine. I mean, you can never predict, when these things are going to happen. Um, at trade night, I met RBT Collector and Stackhouse, and they were thrilled to meet me, which I thought was pretty cool. And Stackhouse actually had 4 cards for me. Like he purposely brought them for me. They were all Bo Nailers. 2 of them were autographed. These 2 are autographed, and then these 2 Bowman ones. So I thought that was pretty cool of him. I mean, doesn't owe me from Adam. Bella again was introducing me to everybody, like these 3 guys: Logan's Leagues, Brandon Bergeron, and I can't remember the other guy's name. Pretty cool stuff there. Trade night line, I handed out, like there were 3 kids here. These are the kids that were like, "Do you have Instagram?" And I'm like, "I do now." Couple other guys. Oh, so so I met Eloy finally. Again, you can't see the picture. I don't know why I keep showing you pictures when you can't really see them. So I met Eloy the goat, and he kept messaging me. I mean, we were messaging back and forth. And again, this is kind of like the lack of experience versus the experience here, right? And he kept messaging me. He's like, "Hey, we're going to dinner. Hey, we're here. Hey, we're doing this." And it was bad timing, like when he was doing that, because like their dinner plans, I was already at the hotel room ready to go to bed. I was somewhere else. And as I pulled in the parking garage to trade night, he messages me and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing tonight? We're going to this rip party or something. If you can make it, that'd be cool. And I was like, man, I got to meet this guy. Like, he's the first breaker I ever broke with, and he's done a lot for Ripping for the Cure. And we've worked together with FCA. And like, I want to meet him. So as I'm walking, I'm actually talking to this father and son right here. He's a Yankee fan. The son's a Red Sox fan. They live in Massachusetts. That was a story. We're walking, and all of a sudden, I see these four guys, and I knew Eloy right away. Like, I could tell it was him, and I was like, "Oh man, like this is serendipitous. This is perfect." And so I was able to meet him, and Big Cat and Palm Beach Sports and somebody else. I can't remember their name now. Father son duo in the parking garage. This couple was cool. They actually gave me today's rack of the day. They were really inspired by it, and they gave me this Carson Williams autograph. So that went to Amber today. Let's see. Nobody else really stands out. There's Tony. There's Bully's art cards and Luke. That was a cool one. Ken Carl. Wait. Well, I got two pictures of Tony in here. Oh, this is Tony with his ball. No, Terry, it wasn't Eagle Boy. So it's funny. So after trade night, I just got back into my car in the parking garage, and Eloy texted me, and he's like, "Are you still at trade night? We're at the Sheraton, which was right across from the convention center, and the parking garage was like a quarter mile away." And he's like, "We're here. Eagle Boy wants to meet you." And by that point, I was so mentally and physically checked out that I just had to pass. I just couldn't do it. Who else? Oh, this older couple. This was cool. I wish Che was still in here, but they're huge Cincinnati Reds fans. The guy said he's been coming to the National for years, and his wife, this was her first time ever. She had just retired, and now she's hanging out with him. She was saying, we don't have a living room, we have a Reds room. And it was just so cool to hear the stories, especially from him, because I mean, he was going back to the 70s teams and whatnot. Tracy Hackler, I mean, cool dude there. Um, uh, uh, Josh Miller, Steel City Goon, and Turn 2 cards. Was glad to get to meet him and his boss up there in Erie. Yo, Jaffe. I mean, random people, Gold Line. Mallory, got to meet her. There's Bella. KJ, one of my original friends with Rip and Gypsy. There's Tim, Gerald, Joey. So, yes, I mean, cool stuff all around. You're probably getting bored. Hey, I don't know if Rudy or if Tony's still in there. There's Jen. Jen got one. Anyway, so that's that. I think I'm going to end here. It's getting late. You all are sick and tired of me telling the same stories over and over. I do appreciate every single one of you hanging out, here. I got to meet you at National. I'm so thankful for that. Terry, you got to meet Goldline. Terry, aren't you in Columbus? How have you not met him? Yeah. All right. I'm going to be at the Ohio State Notre Dame game, Terry. Are you going to be around that weekend? We'll need to figure something out. Anyway, super cool of you guys. I love every single one of you. Let's keep Rack of the Day going. Let's make this thing bigger than anybody could ever imagine. Let's continue to help people. Yeah, I don't do well being social either, but we can make it work. We'll talk sports and cards, things that we know. But yeah, let's keep helping people. Let's keep showing people that there are more good people in this hobby and in this world than there are bad. We've already proven it, and we'll continue to prove it. So continue following along on Twitter. If you have an Instagram, Rack of the Day's got an Instagram now. I'm going to try to update as much as I can on there with things. I don't know how that's going to work, but we'll see. If you want to help out in any way, just reach out to me. Seriously, I'm not going to say no, most times, but at the same time, I want it to be a good experience for you as well, and just have it align. So anyway, take care of yourself. Enjoy the rest of your evening and weekend, and I'm sure that we will see one another soon. So thanks, everybody. Glad you all were here tonight. Have a good one. Bye.